Hello and welcome to the United Stand. What an evening to be doing the Sunday night show straight after Euro 2016 final. A lot of you wanted us to go live. Ronaldo will be lifting the trophy. I've got a lot to talk about tonight. Ronaldo will be one of the topics and we will have it live on air as it is lifted. But crack on and I'll keep a look on behind me so we do not miss it. However, Pogba is the massive thing to talk about. My opening line was going to be that a lot of people are reporting that he's going to sign for Manchester United in the next 24 hours. If you've just watched the final, if you've watched him in Euros, I'm just going to say this because I always say it how it is. I cannot get over the arrogance of some Manchester United fans on Twitter and who are saying Pogba's crap. We don't want him at Manchester United. Or I will say it how it is. You arrogant people need to go and have a cold shower and wake up and then get a big bowl of coffee and smell that coffee. Jesus Christ. Have you not been watching Manchester United for the last 3 years where we've been crap with Marouane Fellaini in the midfield and you're there debating whether we should get Pogba or not? Wake up. Wake up. Of course we should sign Paul Pogba. Of course there's going to be doubts. There's never any guarantee. The £100 million, it could be £10 million. Don't care. It's a status thing to shove it up the arse, basically, to Madrid and everybody else that we're Manchester United and we're back and we can buy one of the big players in world football when we're not in the Champions League. And the Premier League is going to go into meltdown and it's great. So I don't care about how much we spent. I'd rather that money was spent than go into the Glazers' back pocket. But for people to be questioning Paul Pogba, let's take the Euro 2016 final as an example. He may as well have played in goal. He was that far out of position and that restricted. He is not a holding defensive midfielder. He never has been. He's a box-to-box midfielder at best. He's a more attacking midfield, really. He needs to play in the number 10 position for Manchester United with two defensive midfielders behind him. And I think that's where Mourinho will utilise him. He's got a great shot on him. He's very skillful. He's a creative passer. He's good in the air. He's strong. That's his position. It's like getting David Silva from Man City or Cazorla from Arsenal or someone like that or Fabregas and getting him to play defensive midfielder. And it's not, just because he's big doesn't mean, Tesla Ray Guns there saying it was just totally misused. I'm keeping an eye on what's going on behind me because I want to come back to Pogba in a moment, but I also want to talk about Ronaldo. There's not two blokes kissing behind me, Connor. But yeah, I just find it absolutely funny that people are saying that about him. Very quickly on France, the reason they lost is because Deschamps just hasn't got a clue. But bringing it back to Manchester United, France, very similar to England. They left it too late to use their best player. Rashford got 5 minutes when England got knocked out, and Martial got about 15 minutes. But we will just touch on Ronaldo, why it's going on, and then I've just got loads to talk about. Memphis, Mata, Varela, Blackett leaving, comments by Danny Murphy, Matuidi as well. Lots to talk about, but I do want this moment, and it is going to be on there, which a lot of you wanted us to go live. Ronaldo lifting the trophy. If you watched my video earlier about the Pogba breaking news that Madrid have dropped out, and some of you weren't happy because I was having a moan about other United channels, etc., making Sky Sports breaking news as if it's gospel when it isn't. Just to keep you in the loop of what I'm like on the United Stand, I'm not digging out other channels or other accounts. I'll say it to anybody. Me and Alex was meant to be on the show tonight. Me and Alex fell out on Twitter on the DMs while the game was going on because he hates Ronaldo. And I was saying no real Manchester United fan hates Ronaldo, because if you ever saw Ronaldo playing for Manchester United, in those few short years he was at Manchester United, he achieved more than anybody has realistically in the last 20 years, way more than Rooney did. We were on one-man team. He was absolutely superb. And you know what? Ronaldo was always honest that he wanted to go to Real Madrid. He did handle it badly. The Sepp Blatter things about us being vermin, etc., wasn't fantastic. But have no qualms about it. I don't care about what Ronaldo did to get his move back to Real Madrid. I don't care that Pogba forced a move to Juventus because he couldn't be asked to wait for a year. I totally think that Scholes coming back was the right decision and Pogba should have waited for his opportunity. But also, David De Gea wanted to go to Real Madrid last year just because he kept it all quiet and never came out and said anything about it. Who's the biggest snide? The snake who keeps it quiet, or the person who's public and honest and say, I want to go to Real Madrid? I like them all. I've got no issue with Ronaldo. I've got no issue with De Gea. I've got no issue with Pogba. That's modern football. They make their choices. And as this man Ronaldo now is about to lift the trophy behind me, I'm absolutely ecstatic. For me, he's a Manchester United legend. And for what he did in that time, and he developed at Manchester United. He's had his best years at Real Madrid, arguably, but he became a world-class player at Manchester United, and that was down to the way we moulded him. And I think he's totally deserving of it. And I'll never understand how Manchester United fans, some of them, hate Ronaldo, because it's football. That's football. That's the way it works. And I think he's an absolutely superb player. And I'm glad we've gone live so that we can watch him pick it up. Charlie Maguire, I don't know what you're on about, bear out of sync, Mark. Speak English, please. Absolutely. He's so much cheaper, Baz. But yeah, I do want to get onto all the Manchester United stuff, but I'm aware it's going on behind me. And I'm very pleased that Ronaldo has done it, because all Ronaldo does, and he gets a lot of hate, all Ronaldo does is be arrogant, and he's always been quite arrogant and believes in himself. But for him to achieve it at international level, I think he's absolutely superb compared to Messi, who just, you know what? Messi's a very good player, but I would have Ronaldo in my team if I was a manager, because he's done it in the Premier League, he's done it in La Liga, he's now done it internationally, and he's physically better. And that's fantastic. I'm really, really pleased for him. Whereas Messi has always been at Barcelona. Look at that passion. Messi's always been at Barcelona, surrounded by very good players. He won't go and test himself anywhere else. He's obviously mad about money because he's so greedy. He even does the tax man. I totally applaud Ronaldo. I think it's absolutely superb. Charlie, I get your point now. If it is out of sync, I apologise for that. Sometimes it is for some of you. But I'm absolutely ecstatic for Ronaldo. I'll never understand why Manchester United fans, I think any real Manchester United fan would be a fan of Ronaldo, because he just did so much for us, and he grew at Manchester United. When he first came, I remember him when he first came, I think he came on as a sub against Bolton Wanderers. He was very, very raw, nothing like that. You could never have predicted he'd become the player he has. He had talent, but you could never predict it. And that's down to the Manchester United coaching staff, his own determination. He's such a professional. You look at his body, he's a professional, and he's at the top of his game. And Manchester United developed that. And he went, and he was always wanted to go to Real Madrid, always wanted to go to Real Madrid. You can't fault him for that. He always wanted to go to Real Madrid. We kept him for another year than we probably should have done. And I think, you know what? I think at Real Madrid now, he's there for the money, because the fans boo him or have booed him. And I wish him all the best. I like Ronaldo, and I do. Back to Pogba. I just want to say very quickly about Pogba. Pogba left Manchester United because him and his agent, the same agent he's got now, went and got themselves a better deal because they were impatient with Manchester United, who wouldn't play in first-team football because we brought Scholes out of retirement. I agree with that. I stand by Sir Alex Ferguson. Pogba's gone and done his thing. I don't bear a grudge to Pogba coming back. Talking about Pogba to Manchester United, I think that the price we pay is irrelevant, because sometimes you've got to pay a price to get a player. And if we wanted to pay his real price, which probably is 60 million, then Real Madrid would get him and we wouldn't get him. So we're paying the money to get a very good player when we haven't got Champions League football, when we've been really, really poor for 3 years. And I find it really arrogant and silly that Manchester United fans are on Twitter tonight, because that's where I've been, digging him out, saying he's not worth this money, we don't want him, this, that and the other. And I think you're arrogant, you're absolute arrogance. The arrogance in it is ridiculous. We've had Fellaini playing defensive midfielder, and you're questioning Pogba. Who do you think you are? Where do you think you've come from? We're not the Manchester United of when we had Sir Alex Ferguson. We've been miles off that for so long. And we're having to pay the price because we're not in the Champions League. You have to pay more. We overpaid on Di Maria. We got Falcao on silly wages when he had a dodgy knee. That's what you have to do. You have to take those risks. As Baz says, he's box to box. Matuidi, too old. We need younger players, says Wake in the Fallen. I don't think he was very good tonight. I think Sissoko was better. But France messed it up, and they had a dodgy manager. And Pogba was well out of position, absolutely well out of position. Kevin Norano saying Pogba Mata, question mark. Interesting point. Just want to say, for those who've joined us a little bit late, there are rumours that Pogba will sign in the next 24 hours. That could happen now, because I think if France had won, then he's obviously going to be celebrating all night. The fact that they haven't won, nothing to celebrate. You go your own separate ways tomorrow. You might wrap the deal up and go on holiday. So I think it could happen in the next few days. Everything indicates it's going to happen. I will be absolutely ecstatic when it does happen. And you know what? Pogba with the point to prove is great. But what I would say about the Euros, Hi, Kay Parker. What I would say about the Euros is they're crap. They're absolute crap. I thought they were poor, and it's always the same. The group stages tend to be better than the latter stages, where there's a lot of pressure. Portugal have grinded that tournament out. It was the same. It's the same in so many tournaments. The big players struggle in it. International football, you put any international team into the Premier League, and they'd be bottom half because they don't play together very often, and it tells. There's no real flow to the game, and I think. KJ Smith 21's made a good point. I generally don't enjoy watching Ronaldo anymore because I think his ego has spoiled him. Personal opinion. Yeah, it's his personal opinion, but I like him. And I just want to say, for those people who think I was having a pop at another channel earlier on, maybe I was doing, but you should have seen the pop I was having at Alex. I have a pop at anybody when I'm on one, and we do fall out in the United stand. It's a shame Alex couldn't come on tonight because I think we would have really royally fell out, but. It's only because we're passionate about United. Pogba by the weekend, says Jason Braithwaite. I think it's going to happen in the next few days. I couldn't predict today. But where would you play Pogba, says Neil Graham. As I was saying earlier, I'd play. He's either box-to-box or he's a number 10 behind Zlatan with Mkhitaryan and Martial either side of him, and then two midfielders behind him doing the defensive stuff. But I think what will actually happen is he'll probably play one of the two midfield positions with one of them like a Carrick, Schneiderlin, Schweinsteiger more withdrawn, and Pogba given the opportunity to actually go box-to-box. That game for France there, he's basically being told to just stand where Michael Carrick stands for Manchester United. That's not getting the best out of him. We've seen some of the wonder goals he scored for Juventus. We've seen the damage he can cause in the opposition's box. He's a creative player, and he's just been wasted tonight. He may as well have been sat on the bench with Martial. I mean, it's disgusting how Anthony Martial's been used in the Euros. He may as well have the summer off, having a rest. Totally misused, and France got what they deserve. I do like France. Evra, club legend. Pogba, like him. Martial, obviously. Schneiderlin was part of that squad. But they got what they deserved, and I wanted Portugal to win because I'd said it a few weeks ago. Deschamps hasn't got a bloody clue. Mata to Juventus then, as part of the Pogba deal. You very rarely get players part of swap deals now, and I don't think it will happen. Mata to Juventus might happen, but I can't see it being part of that. I think Mata will go. We've discussed it to death. He hasn't got the pace. Unless he's going to play number 10, I don't think he's got the physicality for a Mourinho team. I might be surprised, but we'll have to just say. Lewis is saying Man United say they've just stopped pursuing Pogba due to his performance, justifies a fee of 20 million. Yeah, I think he's having a joke there, but that's how ridiculous people can be. Alexander, do you think Juventus will accept the 120 million offer from Manchester United? Wouldn't you after tonight's performance? No, I think they will do. He's a very good player, Pogba, and I think it's fantastic that when we sign him, all our rivals will be going, ha, you've wasted 100 million. Two things about that. Two things to our rivals. Yes, I know what I'm doing. Two things to our rivals. One, we can bloody afford it. We could afford double that and still have loads of money. So that's one. You can't afford it. We can. And two, he will be a revelation in the Premier League because it's like Zlatan. It's like you could name lots of players in the Euros who are very good players who didn't have a good one. Muller was crap. Thomas Muller was crap. He would be a revelation in the Premier League. He would eat it up. You can't judge a player on international football in an international tournament, and especially in Pogba's case, when he's played out of position. Baz, Pogba got Van Haleized. He did. The French Van Hal, Deschamps, absolute joke. And I think it's criminal what he did to Martial. Absolutely criminal. Is Memphis leaving, says Shazinda. Don't know. Breaking news, says Abels 2009. Breaking news from Guillem Balaguer. This is breaking news coming in on now. Portugal may have just won the Euros. He's not confirming it, but he thinks it's there, and it's breaking news. And Sky going live. I will grow a beard if Man United win the league. That's not a problem at all. So many football fans have no brain cells, says Ewan McGiver. I wouldn't doubt Pogba. I don't doubt Pogba, and I don't care how much it costs. I think it'd be an absolute revelation at Manchester United, and I'll be ecstatic to respond to it live when he signs. Brilliant. I'm not judging Pogba on that, being played out of position. I'm judging Pogba on the player who was at Manchester United when we let him go, and the player he has been at Juventus since he went. He's a top player. He'll eat the Premier League up, and I don't care what we pay to get him. He will be really good. Who else? Varela and Blackett. Now, I do want to touch on this, and it's a bit more hardcore for the Manchester United fans who are hardcore. Blackett's going to be sold, apparently. They're not being used as part of the first team squad since they've gone back training. Tyler Blackett's not good enough. It was an experiment from Van Gaal. He's not good enough. He went to Celtic and hardly played. It's no loss. Just like Nick Powell, get rid of him. I think Varela is far more interesting. I think the mistake a lot of Manchester United fans make is that they think he's a youth player. He's 22 if he's not 23. He's definitely 22. He might be 23. It's too old. There was a lot of top Reds, and Alex included. So I'm not just mentioning big Reds on Twitter or YouTube, and you'll know who they are, who were saying Varela needs to play. Varela's going to be a great player in the future. And I said he wasn't, but Alex on this channel and a couple of others said Varela's going to be really good. As Kevin McDermott says, Varela is good attacking fullback but cannot defend. And I think that sums it up perfectly with Varela. And also his age is a massive factor. He is 22. He's not, if he was 17, 18, 19, you'd think he can develop. But at the age he is now, he's going to be like, he's at the age where he should be good enough, and he isn't. Defensively, he isn't good enough. I thought it was horrific the way Van Gaal treated him after that second leg at Old Trafford where he made the mistake and Liverpool scored in half-time. He threw him under a bus and took him off, killed his confidence. But defensively, he's not good enough. He's half decent going forward, but those people who thought he was the second coming of Gary Neville were wide off, and he totally needs to be sold because of his age. He's just not good enough. He's not Manchester United quality as a right back, and he needs to go. I don't know what people think about. Jake2444 says, Mark, people forget Pogba's only 23. Exactly. Lingard's 23, says Andrew Thompson. You compare Lingard and Pogba, and they're worlds apart, quite literally. If Pogba and Matuidi come, would you let Schneiderlin go? Says Robbie, 16. I think we'd have to, wouldn't we? We've got Schneiderlin. We've got Schweinsteiger, we've got Carrick, we've got Herrera, still got Fellaini. He's got to go. You bring Matuidi and Pogba in, we've got too many players, so we're going to have to let people. Lynn Hall is ecstatic Portugal win. It's a fairy tale for Ronaldo. I am as well. Herrera, I mean, where do you all sit on Herrera? Because a few of you were tweeting me earlier saying, oh, there's a few United fans who want Herrera to go. I think Herrera can be a really good Premier League midfielder. I just think he falls into that category where he's been suppressed by Louis van Gaal and not allowed to play the way he can play. I think Mourinho could give him the freedom to play he wants to play. We see the real Herrera, what he was like at Atletico Bilbao, and I think he can still be a Man United player. And I think you look at the posts on Twitter that he's tweeting out, he looks like he's enjoying pre-season, he looks like he's part of it. I'll be surprised to let him go. Keep Herrera, says Gary Wells. He's amazing, says Anthony HD. Herrera will be class under Jose, says Kev McGee. Fellaini and Jones out, says Ramsey. Fosu Mensah, says Kevin Narona. He's got a massive future at Manchester United. Him and I read something today that Fosu Mensah and Twansibi are the two players that Mourinho thinks he can develop this season. I would take Rashford for granted. So that is comforting because Fosu Mensah, we know, an absolute beast of a player, still only 18, not 19 till Christmas, I don't think, January time. He's going to be a revelation. He can play right back. He can play defensive midfield in the future. It reminds me of like Michael Essien when in his prime, but I think he can be better than that. Twansibi, I think he's 18, just coming up for 19 as well. He's been playing for the under-21s. I expect him to go on loan. He's quick, and he can definitely make it at the highest level. He reads the game very well. A lot of people sort of liken him to a young Rio Ferdinand, which is fantastic. So yeah, definitely, I'd be really, really happy about that. There's over 900 of you watching. On these shows, we normally get 1,000 likes. So if you are watching, please do drop us a like because I'm going into the live comments section now and it is all about you. So please do drop the video a like. It is your show at the end of the day. What about Lozano, says 1 minute videos? Well, he sort of died down a bit. He's in my top 5 signings that Mourinho is going to make, and I still think it will happen. But him and the club are sort of denying it now. But it was never meant to be till after the Olympics. He's going to be part of the Olympics anyway. So I suppose we'll have to wait and see. Hi Mark, what do you think about Mata Pogba swap? Sort of touched on that a little bit earlier, Emmerich. You very rarely get swaps these days. I don't think it will happen. A couple of you asking where Zara is. She was meant to be on the show, but it's a bit late, past the bedtime. It's 11 o'clock now, UK time, and she has to go to bed at 9 o'clock. So she will be on, but she was going to be on tonight, but literally, it seriously was too late. She needs a beauty sleep, apparently. Varela to be sold, Lorenzo. Yeah, discussed that. Happy with that. I just think it's the right decision for everybody. Golden wants Fellaini sold. Varane isn't going anywhere, says Lewis Smith. Varane would be interesting for Real Madrid, but it would be a tough deal to do, especially if we've upset them after the Pogba deal. Manolas is still my choice, and he still, as this minute, has not signed a new contract. Lillet, Madrid, by Pogba, then by Cruz off them, says Hamish. I'm happy with Pogba. I'm not going to jump on this silly bandwagon that he had a bad Euro 2016, so we don't sign him. And I don't. It can be 10 million, 100 million, 200 million. It makes no difference to me. I don't care about the money. It's not my money. Well, it is our money, but so much of it has gone to the Glazers over the last decade that I don't really care if we went and spent 400 million pounds on Griezmann tomorrow. I'd just be happy to have Griezmann. I don't care how much we spend. And it winds all our rivals up. So that's the main thing. Would you play Ibra and Rashford together or bring Rashford on as an impact sub, says Josh James. It's a good point. I think Rashford's so exciting. I'll be ecstatic every game he starts next season, and I think he will start some games. But it'd be interesting to see what he does, because neither of them are number 10, so they're sort of vying for the same position. But Rashford can play on the right or left. He's equipped to do that. But for me, I think, impact sub, learning. Zlatan won't play every game anyway, so backup striker, that's where Rashford should be, and maybe playing, we're going to pick up injuries. People get lost in this, what your first 11 is. Over the course of a season, a backup player will still play 30-odd games a season because there'll be injuries, etc. So Rashford's got a massive part to play. I think Lingard is more questionable. Owen's watching from China. Hello, Owen. Sissoko, question mark, says ugly munter. Not for me. Part of a relegated Newcastle team for a reason. I think, some people can shine in the Euros. It's the same in the World Cup. I remember Liverpool going and buying a couple of Senegalese players about 10 years ago. 2002, was it? World Cup, Diouf and some other player. And they had a good World Cup and they were pretty crap after that. So, no, I don't rate players just because they have a couple of games in international tournaments. I don't think the quality of international football is very good. I think you judge somebody over a season, and Sissoko wasn't that great, was he? Joe Maria would be a good signing, says Dan the Man. He has been linked to us a few times. I was quite impressed with him tonight, but I think he's just a bit lightweight for the Premier League. Matuidi played well, says 1 minute videos. I'm watching from Ashton, says Johnny Coxey. Bit off topic. Do you think Ronaldo will ever come back, Alistair Cranmer? I love Ronaldo, as we've discussed on this video, but no. Last summer was the last time I personally said Ronaldo could come back for me, and I'd be happy about it. I'd be ecstatic if he came back because I love Ronaldo, but to get the best out of him, it had to be last year. I think he's on the decline now, and why should we take him at the end? I think, if we were ever going to get him back, we wanted him at the best. I was impressed with Nani tonight. MUFC for life was just talking about him then. I was really impressed by Nani. I thought he really well. Mark, do you think international football is not reliable anymore, says Jake? I don't rate international football. I think they hardly ever play with each other, and that tells. And I do think that a lower level Premier League club would beat most international sides because of that playing with each other every week. You can't knock that, and the tactics and everything you can bring into play and the familiarity. Chandra, Fosu Mensah can be a ball-winning midfielder. He definitely can. Put a video up this morning. It's on the channel if you want to go and watch it. Top 5 Manchester United youth prospects, and it's quite a long video, about 10 minutes, giving my background on them. So that's a good. If Real Madrid can afford, what's that? Michael William, if Real Madrid can't afford Pogba now, how will they afford him in his prime? He'll be here for all of his career if there is no fallout. Completely worth 100 million. As I said earlier, I said it a year ago when Real Madrid were going to get De Gea around June time. I said one day winter will come. I like Game of Thrones. Winter's coming for the La Liga, and the likes of Balaguer and all these arrogant Barcelona and Real Madrid fans who make me laugh when they live in the UK and they love Real Madrid and Barcelona. But they are, especially Madrid fans, they are so repulsive in the way they dig out of the clubs. And I said winter's going to come for Real Madrid and Barcelona, and it is maybe even a year early. I thought if we were going to go head-to-head with Madrid this summer for Pogba, they'd still have the funds to outdo us, and they've got Champions League football, and they've got the climate, and I thought we would lose. But they've basically been obliterated by Manchester United because we can pay more to the agent, we can pay more to Juventus, and we can pay more to Pogba, and they can't pay it. They're being obliterated by us. Why are they being obliterated by us? Because Real Madrid and Barcelona are very greedy, arrogant clubs. And whilst the Premier League shared the money out fairly and made a league where it won't happen again for a long time, but a league where Leicester City can win the Premier League. And even if they don't win the Premier League, there's still 5 or 6 teams going for it, and anybody can beat anybody. It's the most watched league in the world. It's the most entertaining league in the world. And that is why all the sponsors want to chuck money. So the likes of Crystal Palace and Stoke City are spending 30 million on a player. That is just unheard of, and they can afford to do it because there's so much money in it. Now you think about the money Manchester United are making, because we're the our first 6 games of the season are on TV. Everybody knows Manchester United worldwide. We are the selling point for the Premier League, whether we're in the Champions League or not. We are the favourites of the broadcasters and the sponsors. That's just a fact. So we can now destroy Real Madrid and Barcelona because we've just got so much money and we're only going to get richer. That's why 100 million, people are laughing, how are you spending 100 million? It's not like it's a risk. It's not like if Pogba doesn't work out, which he will, we're going to be bankrupt. We won't. We can go and spend what we want. And Real Madrid and Barcelona can't, because nobody's really interested in their rubbish league. Real Madrid and Barcelona are only really interesting in the Champions League, and they took all the money for themselves and they haven't shared it out. So there is no competition in that league. And they messed up. They've messed up, and winter has come. And this Pogba signing, if it happens, is going to be so symbolic, because it's a symbol that the Premier League Manchester United specifically, have obliterated them financially. And I tell you what, if they don't sort their act out in a couple of years' time, it won't be Manchester United obliterating Barcelona and Real Madrid. It will be the likes of Stoke and Crystal Palace, because they'll be richer. And that's what's going to happen. Absolutely brilliant. Cam Neville, Mark, would you sell or loan Pereira? I want him to be given a chance. For those of you who are watching live at the moment and you're new to the United Stand, we started it late last season and it was good fun. We do watch-alongs, a bit like this. The game's on. We'll have a guest from the United Stand. We have the live comments up on the video there, so you can see what everybody's saying. And we go live about 40 minutes before a game, half an hour before a game. We talk about the lineup, and then when it's live, we're talking about the game. You can watch it how you want. We're watching it, and we talk about the game. And we were doing that next Saturday lunchtime for the first pre-season game, and I'm hoping to see the likes of Pereira in that team. And I think it's going to be interesting to see what the likes of some players who we think might be sold will get, how they're going to perform. So yeah, can't wait. Harvey Beard, Pogba is great, but not worth £100 million. I agree that he's not worth £100 million, but we're paying a tax to get him, because we're fighting Real Madrid, we're proving a point, and we're paying a lot of money because we're not in the Champions League. So who cares? Kunal says, Mark, do you think all the selling will happen only after a few training sessions? I can't wait for the signings, the selling to start happening, because as bad as that sounds, we do need to trim the squad. And I think I can name 10 players for you now, and you think tell me what you think. Fellaini, Rojo, Jones, Blind, Mata, Valencia, Ashley Young, Varela, obviously, Rooney, Memphis. There's many more. I'm not saying they are going to be sold, but there's a lot of players that we need to trim out. I don't think Rooney's going to go. I don't think Memphis is going to go. Herrera, Schneidlin, Schweinsteiger, one of them could go. There's so many players. I'm hoping Fellaini, as Career and Gibbs is saying now, I'm hoping Fellaini's going to go. He's the one who needs to go. Mark, same name, says Ryan Deaton. Mark, do you think Marshall will have a bad start due to his manager in France? No, I think he'll be treated properly. Mark, what do you think about signing Lord Bentner? Patrick. Young is not bad, actually, says Stephen. No, I think Ashley Young has just been played out of position. I think we're going to have to carry a bit of dead wood this season, because I just don't think you can sell 10 players. And I think the press are very, very eager, as I was discussing last week, to build Pep up and they can't wait to jump on Mourinho. So Mourinho's got to be a little bit careful. But Phil Jones and Lingard and Fellaini need to go, says John O'Arty. I'd love Phil Jones to go. I just think he's not the player we bought. We hoped we'd bought, and I think his injury problems, I don't care what anybody said. I had shin splints when I was 15 and I never really got over it. He played 4 or 5 games and they start to hurt. He's had shin splints and he's very injury prone everywhere else. He's always going to be injury prone, Phil Jones. I said it last summer. I'll say it again now, just so that you 1,000 people watching can remember me saying that Phil Jones is injury prone. He always will be. So we should get rid while we can. Apparently, there's a few clubs who want him. Mark, what about Shaw? Says Weetabix Blood. Can't wait to see him next week. I think he needs J-Ax wants a clap. I will give you a clap in a minute. I think Luke Shaw again, hopefully see him a bit in the pre-season. You know, the watch along next week for the it's Wigan we're playing, isn't it? And then the following Friday, Dortmund, we'll be doing that one. On the Monday, Man City. Yes, Zlatan's probably well, he won't play really, will he? Zlatan, a lot of the Euros players won't play, but Mkhitaryan probably will. But really, it's more important. I want to see the likes of Twansibi play, maybe Roshan Williams, maybe Callum Gribbin, certainly Fosu Mensah, Luke Shaw, Pereira. These are the players I want to see. I want them to shine. And then you've got people like maybe Daley Blind, Mata, Schneiderlin. Schneiderlin won't play because he's been part of that. So what a waste, Schneiderlin. He must be gutted that Diarra got injured because he's been totally not used. So Schneiderlin won't be part of it, will it? Because he needs a holiday. And he needed to be part of it. Schweinsteiger needed to be a part of it. But Herrera, definitely. I mean, Herrera's really exciting because he should get a few minutes, show what he's capable about. So, yeah, I can't wait. I'm really excited. And I said this the other day. This is the last weekend now where Manchester United aren't playing before the season starts because we've got a game virtually every weekend or surrounding it anyway. 2 weeks yesterday, Galatasaray. I think that's in Sweden. I expect to see Zlatan play. Matthew Barker, when is Mourinho's next press conference? I actually don't know about that. We'll tweet it out when we know. When's the Manchester United kit released? Does anybody know? Get commented on there. That must be coming out soon. We'll be giving out... We'll be giving away 2 Manchester United tops as soon as it comes out. So keep an eye on that. In fact, there's lots happening on the United stand, so just keep an eye out. We've got some really exciting things. Fantasy Premier League will be starting soon. We've got a Fantasy Premier League. I need to ask you all a question about that as well, but I'm just waiting to see if anybody knows. Galen Balaguer, we'll talk about him in a moment. Nobody seems to know. Don't care about kits, says Zay. Say my name, says the Red Devils 22. Nobody seems to know when the new kit's coming out. Loads of you did the Fantasy Premier League. My tip is to have Zlatan and Mkhitaryan. Maybe I'm being a bit over the top excited, but I think Zlatan will score 20 goals, and I think Mkhitaryan will get 20 assists. Fantasy Premier League, there's the official league, which we'll set up, but also we could do a money league if anyone wants to do that. So if anyone wants to do it, I think we'll do £5 entry or something like that. And during the season, if enough of you enter, we should be able to do some really good prizes. So let us know if you would be interested in that. Just type yes or no, whatever. Emmerich going to the match against Galatasaray, which would be brilliant. Steve from Essex says Jesse Pinkman. I recognise that name, Jesse. I know you've been around for a while. New or old, we love you on the United stand. Let's talk a bit about Galen Balaguer. I think his pinned tweet says it all on Twitter. If you ever follow him on Twitter or want to have a look, I don't follow him. Basically promoting his book about Pep Guardiola. It says it all. 100% says it all. That's his priority. TV off, yeah. That's his priority for Balaguer. He loves Pep Guardiola. He lubes himself every morning around the neck so he can shove it up Pep's bum, and that's what he's all about. And he likes to think he knows what he's on about, but he's just so off the ball. I mean, his thing about he doesn't like Manchester United. He's an Abu, anyone but United. And his comment yesterday about Pogba. I know Pogba wants to go to Real Madrid, but he's going to go to Manchester United. I mean, what a petulant little man you are. I don't know whether he's little, but it's a small-minded attitude, because it's like it's so bitter that he's coming to Manchester United that he's trying to basically make out that a player really doesn't want to come to United. He wants to go to Real Madrid, but he's going to come to United. It's like it's slavery. It's not. Pogba wants to come to Manchester United because we're going to pay his agents a lot of money, we're going to pay him a lot of money, and he wants to challenge at Manchester United. And let's not forget, Mourinho is the best manager in the world. So, Zidane might be a French legend, but he's not a very good manager. He's got all the assets around him. And maybe he did want to go to Real Madrid, but Real Madrid haven't shown him that they want him. We have. We're going to get him. We're going to get him. That's as simple as it is. TV on. People want the telly on now. I'm not turning it back on. Will Pogba be defo? Mark, will Pogba push Rooney out the lineup? Be interesting to see. BBC have reported that Real Madrid have pulled out the deal. That's no news. We were talking about this 4 days ago because Di Marzio said it. I mean, Sky reporting it today like it's breaking news. It should say old regurgitated news, because it was said 4 days ago. We were talking about this because Di Marzio said Real Madrid can't buy Pogba. They've never been involved in the deal because they can't buy him, because it's basically like 4 days ago, or whether it's 5 days or whatever, I can't be bothered to go and look at the video when I'm live, but Di Marzio said Real Madrid aren't even in this deal because they can't deal with what Manchester United are offering. So they were never in the deal. They probably went, how much Manchester United going to pay? 100 million. Right, okay, we can't pay that. Bye. That was it. And that was 4 days ago. So why people are now saying breaking news, Real Madrid are out of the deal? They've been out of it for a long time. I tell you why they're out of it, because they had a little sniff in the beehive and they got stung because we've got too much money compared to them. Unlucky. Mark, do you think we could sign... Ishmael saying, do you think we could sign James Rodriguez? I think we will sign more. I think we'll get Pogba. That'll be the 4 signings. That'll be the one where he can breathe easy. Mourinho, I think we can all breathe easy. And then I think it's a case of players out the door before people come in the door. Oh, and somebody just mentioned Memphis there. Obviously, Memphis will play next week. He's had a summer off as well. Exciting. So there's, you know, I know we won't have Zlatan on the watch along next week and we won't have Pogba or a few of the Euros lads, but we will have Memphis, we will have Herrera, we will have some of the young lads like Twansibi and Fosu, and hopefully Pereira. So I think it's really exciting. I love doing all the transfer talk, and I think you do as well. But I can't wait to start doing the watch-alongs and talking about Manchester United playing again. And I think, although it is pre-season, I really enjoyed it last year on the US tour. And you know, that's what being a real passionate Manchester United fan is, and you all are. It's being part of the pre-season and watching them. So I think it's 1 o'clock next Saturday UK time. So we'll go live at about 12:30, talk about the team and everything, and then watch it with us. Be great. We need another centre-back, Christopher Wright. We definitely do, and I'm hoping it's going to be Manolas, because I don't think... I think Bailey will be good. I think Smalling will improve. But beyond them two, I don't think Daley Blind will be a centre-back under Mourinho. I don't think Rojo's good enough, and I think Jones is unreliable. So unless he's going to promote Twansibi, which at 19... he's very young, I would go out and buy another centre-back personally. Winter is coming, says Louise O'Donoghue. It is. I think I'm going to hold back until we've signed him. But the minute we've signed him, Real Madrid are getting it big time. And all their fans are getting it big time. And you can pretend you weren't in for it, but you were in for Pogba. You've just had your nose knocked out of joint finally by Manchester United. And I can't wait for it to happen. And I'll be gloating to hell if we get it. But nothing will surpass the Fellaini being sold video. That will be sensational, but I'm not going to say it's going to happen because I don't know. Turn TV on or you'll get a dislike, says Baz. Well, I think it's coming on now, but Manolas injured in training. In the end, it doesn't even matter. Good name, good name. Anyway, I'm going to go now because I don't know what's going on there. That's the news. Why do you want to watch the news anyway? Kevin H, you're going to go viral. I don't think we ever will go viral unless you all drop a like. Last year, we won Best New Football Vlog at the Football Blogging Awards, and it was all down to you lot. And we said that, and I think we're going to try and win it again this year. We won't win Best New, but we'll try and win an award. So do drop us a like, because the more you like the videos, I don't know whether it matters or not. It matters to me, and it should matter to you, because it's all about your comments at the end of the day. But I just want to say, please do like the video. I want to applaud everybody as per usual, because the comment section is fantastic. And as I say, it may look like I'm looking at the video, but right underneath the camera, I have the live comments. That's what I'm reading. A lot of you seem to like the United stand. I was meant to have 2 guests on with me tonight. I am trying to get the guests back on, the panelists. They will start to get back in more involved now, because we've got the games coming up. But I'm just quite obsessive and like to get on live every night. So I will be back live tomorrow at 8:30 with another transfer update. And who knows, one night this week, one day this week, we may well have the Pogba deal. But I'm really happy tonight. The Euros are finished. I always said tomorrow is going to be a big day, because the Euros are finished. Everyone can get to work on selling and signing. I think the Pogba thing will be resolved quite quickly. Why would he need to wait until a couple of weeks while he's on holiday if Madrid have pulled out the deal like we've been told, and if Manchester United are the only horse in the race? And the rumour is that Woodward's dealing in Monaco tomorrow with Juventus. Let's get the deal done. Let's get it done. So I'm happy about that. I'm personally very happy for Ronaldo that he's won that tournament. I've been saying for a long time that if I had a choice between Ronaldo and Messi, I would take Ronaldo, because he's proved himself everywhere and physically he's better, and he can score all sorts of goals. Whereas, you know, Messi, very good player, but Ronaldo is the man for me, and he is a United legend. So I'm really happy about that. And I'm really happy because I really enjoyed doing this video. And I'm glad that you've all enjoyed it as well. Somebody's saying, Mark, don't have any guests, just you. I think it has sort of turned into that, but I'm always very wary of it because when it is just me, I totally interact with the comments. And when you have a guest, I've got to let the guest talk, and then it cuts down on the amount of time I can talk to you in the live comments, like we have been for the last 15 minutes. And it really is interactive, isn't it? So we'll always say how it is, though. And if you do go and watch the video where I was ranting in a black Lacoste top from about a few hours ago, talking about the Pogba deal and moaning, I was ranting, I admit, about another channel talking about Sky Sports breaking news as if it's gospel. And it just winds me up. You know why it winds me up? And I did overreact, but it winds me up because I'm passionate about Manchester United, and you, Manchester United fans like me, I'm a Manchester United fan, and I know a lot of you aren't from the UK. A lot of you are watching from all around the world, and I love that, whether it's Asia, South America, North America, Antarctica, Australasia, or wherever you're watching from, you're all valid. But if you're watching and somebody does a video saying Sky Sports breaking news, Madrid have pulled out of a deal, then you don't know what Sky Sports News are like. You don't know what Guillem Balaguer are like. And you might take that as gospel, as being really reliable news, and it isn't. And that's what annoys me. They are UK-based people doing videos for popularity, which is fine, but you've got a responsibility, if you're a real fan, to give United fans real information. And we were talking about this, and other channels were talking about this 4 days ago. Demarcio said it 4 days ago. It's not new breaking news. But I quantify that and qualify it by saying, if I overreacted about another channel, I apologise for that, because I'm not digging other channels out. I'm just being passionate as a United fan. And if I got bloody Alex on the show tonight, because the argument we were having during that Euro 2016 final about Ronaldo, and he was saying, I can't stand Ronaldo, he's vermin. And I was saying, he's an absolute legend as a Manchester United player, and no real Manchester United fan would dig Ronaldo out. And he was like, oh, no. And then I said, you're a hypocrite, because when Pogba comes back to Manchester United, you're going to love him. You'll go and get the name on the shirt and ruin his career. And Pogba left Manchester United the same way Ronaldo left. He didn't want to stay. He didn't want to fight for his place. But I've got no problem with either of them. Like, I've got no problem with De Gea, who was forcing a move silently last year. I don't care. That's the modern game. But what I'm saying is, I'll argue with anybody, but it's never personal. It's always just passion about Manchester United. And I think that's refreshing. And I think that's why I love the live comments, because you do argue with each other. But when we're trying to replicate that down the pub with your mates, on the bus, at school, whatever. We're trying to replicate what real football chat is, which is being passionate and having different opinions. That's not being personal or being evil or falling out with people. I think some people fall into that trap. I'm very passionate and I will say what I think, but it's never personal. Apart from with Guillem Balaguer, who is such a biased Man City Pep-loving liar fraud that it's just never balanced about Man United. Dab, please. I'm only dabbing when we get rid of Fellaini. So I've had my rants. I'm ranting. I'm just explaining. When I do rant and I do get passionate, it's because that Andrea. Oh, somebody just said on Twitter there, and it's whizzed by because you've got so many comments coming through. Mark, search up Andres Varela on Twitter, says MA7 Football. He made a promise to close down his account if Pogba signs. That account, I think I've looked at it. I think it's got 5,000 followers. It's a total fraud. It's a total fraud, that account. There are people out there who make up accounts, get quite big, and they're not real, like Indy Kalea or whatever his name is. That one isn't real. Demarcio is one I follow at the moment. He'll get it wrong at some point because everybody gets it wrong. I mean, I got it so wrong with the person I speak to on Mbolo. But you give me any journalist or reporter or press that gets it right 100%, and I'll call you a liar. But Demarcio at the moment is clearly getting information from Manchester United, and that's the person at the moment. We check everywhere else, and there are other people we can speak to, but Demarcio is getting it consistently right. Liam Upson, Pogba was poor today. He was poor today, but you can't judge him on being playing out of position, and I don't rate international football. I judge him on the young player he was at Manchester United. He came on against, I think it was Stoke, about 3 months before he left United, and he completely ran the midfield. And I judge him on the games I've seen him for Juventus. He's a good player. I don't care what we pay for him, whether it's 5 million or 100 million. I want him to come to Manchester United because he's better than what we've got, and that's what signing should be about. I'm knackered. I'm absolutely knackered. Please do drop the video a like. There's a lot of you watching. If you do drop the video a like, you're helping the channel grow. You're helping us do more of these shows. And again, I applaud you all. Keep getting involved, and we've got loads giving back to you over the next couple of weeks, whether it's United shirts, fantasy football, some new things we're going to develop. The merchandise will be coming out for those who want to get involved. And just thanks everyone for watching. And I will be back live at 8:30 tomorrow night. We'll be doing them at 8:30 from now on again, UK time. And obviously we'll react to anything that happens, whether it's a signing or everything like that. Jake2444 says, Mark, do a 24-hour video. You're not, I'm meant to be going, but you're not the first person to mention that. And I'm thinking about doing it for charity. You'd have to all contribute. I'm thinking about doing it for charity, seeing how long I can go on a live stream. So I don't know whether 24 hours would be possible, but we are thinking of doing it because we like to do something for charity every now and again. Speak to you all tomorrow at 8:30. Unless something happens, if anybody's sold, if anybody's signed, if there's a press conference from Mourinho, we will react. Thanks everybody for watching. Nothing without you, absolutely everything with you, and you make these shows possible. We were doing it with 2 or 3 guests, and we're now able to do it with no guests because you're so good on the live comments and you make it. It's always unscripted, but it's always so much fun. I'm going to go now. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy the rest of your day if you're watching from abroad. And enjoy the start of the week. I think it's about to get really interesting. And next Saturday, the watch-along. Wigan, first game. Memphis, Mata, Twansibi, Fosu Mensah, Pereira, Herrera. Some really exciting things to watch with Mourinho under charge. Speak to you all later.